Have you ever pulled a carrot from your garden, expecting it to be sweet, crisp, and delicious, only to discover that it's small, woody, bitter, or twisted into strange shapes? If that sounds familiar, don't worry, you are definitely not alone. Growing perfect carrots seems simple at first, but there are a few secrets that make all the difference. The good news is that once you understand what carrots really need, you can grow beautiful, straight, sweet roots almost every season. In today's video, I'll walk you through everything from choosing the right variety to preparing the perfect soil and planting your seeds correctly. By the end of this guide, you'll know exactly how experienced gardeners consistently harvest carrots that are crunchy, flavorful, and packed with natural sweetness. So grab your gardening gloves, and let's get started. One of the biggest misconceptions about carrots is that they grow well in almost any garden soil. While carrots are relatively easy to grow, they are extremely sensitive to poor soil conditions. Since the edible part develops underground, every inch of soil matters. Before you even think about planting seeds, take a close look at your garden bed. Carrots thrive in loose, light, well-draining soil that allows their roots to grow straight downward, without resistance. Heavy clay soils, compacted ground, or areas filled with rocks often produce forked, twisted, or stunted carrots. If your soil is heavy, don't panic. You can improve it dramatically by mixing in plenty of finished compost, leaf mold, or other organic matter several weeks before planting. These materials improve drainage while making the soil easier for roots to penetrate. However, here's an important warning that surprises many beginners. Never add fresh manure before planting carrots. Fresh manure contains high levels of nitrogen. While nitrogen encourages lush green leaves, it often causes carrot roots to split, fork, or become hairy instead of growing into smooth, straight roots. Fresh manure can also increase disease problems underground. Instead, use well-aged compost that has completely decomposed. Another step that many gardeners skip is removing rocks. Even small stones can cause developing roots to bend around obstacles. Spend a few extra minutes removing stones, sticks, and other debris from the planting area. It may seem like a small task now, but you'll notice the difference when harvest time arrives. Now let's talk about choosing the right carrot variety. Not all carrots are created equal. Some varieties are naturally sweeter, while others are bred for storage, disease resistance, or specific soil conditions. If your goal is exceptional sweetness, consider growing varieties such as Nantes, Scarlet, Nantes, Yaya, Bolero, or Sugar Snacks. These varieties are famous for their crisp texture and rich flavor. If your garden has heavier soil that can't easily be improved, shorter varieties like Paris, Market, or Oxheart often perform much better than long-rooted carrots because they don't need to grow as deeply. Choosing a variety that matches your soil conditions is one of the easiest ways to improve your harvest. Timing also plays an important role. Carrots prefer cool weather during early growth. Seeds germinate best when soil temperatures range between about 55 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Although they can sprout outside this range, germination becomes slower and less reliable. Many experienced gardeners sow carrots in early spring as soon as the soil can be worked. Others plant a second crop in late summer for a fall harvest. Interestingly, carrots harvested after a few light frosts are often noticeably sweeter because cool temperatures encourage the plant to convert starches into natural sugars. That simple change in weather can dramatically improve flavor. Now let's discuss planting depth. Carrot seeds are incredibly tiny, which often causes gardeners to bury them too deeply. Remember this simple rule. Plant carrot seeds only about 1/4 inch deep. Cover them with a very thin layer of fine soil or sifted compost. If they're planted too deeply, many seedlings simply won't reach the surface. Equally important is spacing. Instead of dumping large amounts of seed into one row, try sowing them as evenly as possible. This reduces overcrowding later and minimizes the amount of thinning you'll need to do. Some gardeners even mix carrot seeds with dry sand before planting. This simple trick spreads the tiny seeds much more evenly along the row and makes planting surprisingly easy. Rows should generally be spaced about 12 to 18 inches apart, giving you enough room to weed, water, and harvest comfortably. Now comes one of the most frustrating parts of growing carrots: germination. Carrot seeds are notoriously slow. Depending on weather conditions, they may take anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks to emerge. During this entire period, the top layer of soil must stay consistently moist. This is where many gardens fail. If the soil dries out even once during germination, many seeds stop developing altogether. Rather than giving the bed a heavy soaking every few days, it's much better to water lightly and consistently, keeping only the top inch of soil evenly moist without creating puddles. Some gardeners place a board, burlap, or floating row cover over the seed row after planting. This helps retain moisture while preventing the soil surface from drying too quickly. As soon as the first seedlings appear, simply remove the cover and allow sunlight to reach the young plants. It sounds like a small detail, but maintaining steady moisture during germination is one of the biggest secrets behind achieving full, even rows of healthy carrots. Many gardeners think the hard part is over once the seedlings appear, but in reality, this is where the biggest mistakes happen. A few simple habits during the next several weeks can mean the difference between thin, woody carrots and large, sweet, crunchy roots. Let's start with one of the most important and often dreaded tasks: thinning. Nobody likes pulling out healthy seedlings, especially after waiting 2 or 3 weeks for them to emerge. But overcrowded carrots simply cannot develop properly. When too many plants compete for the same space, every root stays small, and the carrots become twisted as they push against one another underground. When your seedlings reach about 2 inches tall, thin them carefully so that each plant has roughly 1 to 2 inches of space. Later, as the roots begin to expand, you can thin them again if necessary until they are about 2 to 3 inches apart. Here's a useful trick. Instead of pulling seedlings straight out, snip the unwanted ones at soil level using small scissors. Pulling them can disturb the roots of nearby carrots, slowing their growth. Don't throw away the tiny carrot tops, either. They are edible and make a delicious addition to salads, soups, and homemade pesto. Now let's talk about watering. This is where many gardeners accidentally ruin an otherwise perfect crop. Carrots don't like constantly wet soil, but they also hate long periods of drought. The secret is consistency. Aim to provide about 1 inch of water per week, including rainfall. During hot summer weather, you may need a little more, especially if your soil drains quickly. Deep watering is far better than frequent shallow watering. When water penetrates deeply into the soil, carrot roots naturally grow downward in search of moisture. This produces long, straight roots. Shallow watering, on the other hand, encourages roots to stay near the surface. As the topsoil dries out repeatedly, carrots become stressed, often resulting in cracked roots or poor flavor. Mulching can make a huge difference here. Apply a thin layer of clean straw, shredded leaves, or untreated grass clippings around the plants after they've grown a few inches tall. Mulch helps retain soil moisture, reduces weed growth, and keeps soil temperatures more stable during hot weather. Speaking of weeds, carrots are surprisingly poor competitors. Young carrot seedlings grow slowly at first, giving weeds an opportunity to take over if left unchecked. Weed carefully and regularly, especially during the first month of growth. Always remove weeds by hand whenever possible. Using a hoe too aggressively near young carrots can accidentally damage developing roots hidden beneath the soil. Now let's discuss fertilizing. Many gardeners believe that adding lots of fertilizer automatically produces bigger vegetables. With carrots, that's exactly the opposite. Too much nitrogen encourages beautiful green tops while sacrificing root development. If your soil was enriched with compost before planting, carrots usually need very little additional feeding. If your soil is naturally poor, choose a balanced fertilizer or one that's slightly higher in phosphorus and potassium than nitrogen. These nutrients support healthy root growth instead of excessive foliage. Avoid overfeeding completely. More fertilizer does not mean sweeter carrots. In fact, excess nutrients often reduce flavor while increasing the risk of splitting. Now here's a secret that experienced gardeners know well. Sweetness is closely connected to plant stress. Small periods of moderate stress near harvest can actually increase sugar concentration inside carrot roots. However, severe stress caused by repeated drought, extreme heat, or inconsistent watering has the opposite effect. The goal is steady growth from planting until harvest. Let's discuss one frustrating problem: cracked carrots. If you've ever harvested carrots with long splits running down the sides, inconsistent watering is usually the culprit. Imagine a carrot growing slowly during dry weather. Then suddenly, after heavy rain or excessive watering, the root absorbs water rapidly and expands faster than the outer skin can stretch. The result? Deep cracks that reduce storage life and sometimes invite disease. Maintaining even soil moisture throughout the season is the simplest way to prevent this problem. Another issue is green shoulders. Sometimes the tops of carrot roots become exposed above the soil surface. Sunlight causes these exposed areas to turn green and develop a bitter flavor. The solution is easy. Whenever you notice carrot shoulders appearing above ground, gently pull loose soil around the tops or add a little compost to keep them covered. This tiny maintenance step greatly improves flavor. Let's also talk about pests. One of the most common carrot pests is the carrot rust fly. Its larvae tunnel through roots, leaving ugly brown trails inside otherwise healthy carrots. Fortunately, there are several natural ways to reduce damage. Floating row covers placed immediately after planting can prevent adult flies from laying eggs. Crop rotation is another excellent strategy. Avoid growing carrots in the same location every year. Many gardeners also plant onions, garlic, chives, or leeks nearby. Their strong scent may help confuse certain insect pests while making efficient use of garden space. Healthy soil also plays a major role in disease prevention. Good drainage reduces fungal diseases, while proper spacing improves airflow and allows foliage to dry more quickly after rain. Finally, resist the temptation to constantly check your carrots by pulling them out. Every time you disturb a developing root, you interrupt its growth. Instead, gently brush away a little soil near the crown occasionally to estimate size without removing the entire carrot. Patience truly pays off. Now it's time for the final secrets, the techniques that turn an ordinary harvest into baskets full of incredibly sweet, crisp, and flavorful carrots. Let's begin with one of the biggest questions gardeners ask every year. When should you harvest carrots? Many people assume that bigger always means better. In reality, that's not always true. If carrots stay in the ground far beyond their ideal maturity, they often become tougher, woodier, and less flavorful. While some large varieties are bred to reach impressive sizes, most carrots taste their best when harvested at the proper stage rather than simply the largest stage. Most varieties are ready between 60 and 80 days after planting, although the exact timing depends on the variety and local growing conditions. Instead of relying only on the calendar, check the shoulders of the carrot where they meet the soil. If they're about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch across, they're usually ready to harvest. One of the greatest secrets to sweeter carrots is surprisingly simple. Wait for cool weather. As temperatures begin to drop in late summer and early autumn, carrots naturally convert more of their stored starch into sugars. This is their way of protecting themselves from cold conditions. That means a carrot harvested after a few chilly nights often tastes noticeably sweeter than one harvested during the heat of midsummer. In many climates, Gardeners intentionally leave their carrots in the ground until after the first light frost. The roots become sweeter, the texture becomes firmer, and the flavor becomes richer. Just avoid leaving them in frozen soil for extended periods if your winters are severe. Now let's talk about harvesting correctly. Never yank carrots out by the leaves alone. If the soil is firm, the tops may simply break off, leaving the root behind. Instead, loosen the soil first with a garden fork or hand fork several inches away from the carrot. Lift gently, then pull the carrot out by grasping it close to the crown. This small habit prevents broken roots and protects neighboring carrots that are still growing. As soon as you've harvested them, remove the leafy tops. This is another step many beginners overlook. Carrot leaves continue drawing moisture from the roots after harvest. If left attached, they cause the carrots to lose water much more quickly, reducing both crispness and storage life. Trim the tops to about half an inch above the crown, but avoid cutting into the root itself. Now comes the question everyone wants answered. How do you keep carrots crunchy for months? The first rule is simple. Don't wash them immediately unless you're planning to eat them soon. Brush off excess soil, but leave the roots mostly dry. Washing introduces extra moisture that can encourage mold during long-term storage. Store carrots in a cool, dark place with high humidity. A temperature close to 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, is ideal. Many experienced gardeners place carrots in boxes filled with slightly damp sand, sawdust, or wood shavings. This traditional storage method keeps roots from drying out while preventing them from touching each other. Properly stored carrots can remain fresh for several months. Now let's reveal a few professional gardening secrets that many experienced growers quietly use every season. First, rotate your crops. Avoid planting carrots or other members of the carrot family like parsley, dill, celery, or parsnips in the same bed year after year. Crop rotation reduces disease buildup and helps break the life cycle of soil-dwelling pests. Second, test your soil every few years. A simple soil test can reveal nutrient deficiencies or pH problems before they affect your harvest. Carrots grow best in soil with a pH of about 6.0 to 7.0, where nutrients are readily available. Third, avoid compacting the soil. Try not to walk directly on your carrot beds. Every footstep compresses the soil, making it more difficult for roots to grow straight and evenly. If possible, create permanent garden paths so the planting beds remain loose throughout the season. Here's another tip many gardeners discover only after years of experience. Succession planting. Instead of sowing all your carrot seeds at once, plant a small row every 2 or 3 weeks during the growing season. This simple technique provides continuous harvests instead of one huge crop that all matures at the same time. You'll enjoy fresh carrots for months, and you'll reduce waste because you're harvesting only what you need. Finally, remember that patience is one of the greatest gardening skills. Carrots don't grow overnight. They spend weeks quietly developing beneath the soil where you can't see their progress. It's tempting to dig them up early, but giving them enough time and providing consistent care rewards you with sweeter, larger, healthier roots. The real secret to growing perfect carrots isn't one magical fertilizer or one expensive gardening tool. It's the combination of healthy soil, careful watering, proper spacing, cool growing conditions, and patience. When all these pieces come together, the results are remarkable. Imagine pulling a perfectly straight carrot from the ground. You rinse away the soil, snap it in half, and hear that satisfying crunch. The inside is bright orange, juicy, and naturally sweet, far better than anything from the grocery store. That's the reward for following these simple but proven techniques. If you found today's guide helpful, let us know in the comments. What's your biggest challenge when growing carrots? We'd love to hear your experiences and answer your questions. And if you want more practical gardening tips that help you grow bigger harvests naturally, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next gardening guide. Thanks for watching, happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next video.